Welcome back to Mom's Work. We are standing at the beginning of summer when this recording is being done. I actually think it's the first full day of summer. It's late June, and I feel like it's all ahead of us. But I know my mom always says after the 4th of July, the summer's over. And I'm like, it does fly. I'm like, that's not even nice to say, but she's kind of right. You look up and all of a sudden it's July 18th. But right now, it's only June 22nd. So we have the whole summer in front of us, which can be a little daunting and a little exciting for those of us with our kids all summer. Today, I am joined by Lynn April, known online as Fresh April Flowers, flowers being Flours. Very cute. April is a wife, a mom, a personal trainer, a cookbook author, and a self-taught baker and cook. Ooh, that's a lot. Whose career began in biology before taking an unexpected turn into the kitchen. We're going to talk about career pivots, building a business from a passion, and related, unrelated, keeping our kids busy this summer. So, Lynn, I am so glad to have you.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm happy to be here on this first day of our summer.
First official. And Lynn, why don't you tell us a little bit? Woo, that was a mouthful, but why don't you give us the breakdown a little bit of who you are, kind of your career path, your kids, your family, whatever you'd like to tell us.
Yeah, so I am classically trained as a biologist. I went to Millersville University and graduated there with a biology degree. And I got a job right out of college working in an immunology lab.
Yeah.
My boyfriend at the time, who is now my husband, is 3 years younger than I am. So he was still at Millersville while I was graduating, working a real job.
Okay.
And I needed like a hobby because everyone had gone away
Mhm.
and he had his own social life and needed to study. So I took a
And you were
cake.
an adult, so,
Yeah, I was a real grown
you needed
up.
a hobby.
So I took a cake decorating class at AC Moore,
Yes.
and I had never made a cake from scratch before, but I was like, I would love to decorate a cake. That sounds fun.
Sure.
And so I took a boxed cake to my first class, and I couldn't get the cake out of the pan,
Oh.
but I ended up decorating. I don't even remember how I got it out, but I ended up decorating it. And I then the next class, I took my first like scratch cake to
Okay.
the class. And I had never grown up in the kitchen. Like my mom baked a little bit. My dad was cooked a little bit, but my childhood was like outside in the dirt and looking at bugs. Like I
Hence the
ended up
biology.
exactly.
Yeah.
And my dad was like, we had lots of fish and we were always looking at something under a microscope. So like baking was just not on my radar. So I really didn't bake until I was like 25.
Okay.
Um, and so I started baking on the side because I started baking things for other people. And in Pennsylvania, you can have a cottage bakery, which is that you can sell baked goods out of your home if you are licensed by the state. So it involves inspections and separate ingredients and all this kind of stuff.
Okay.
So I did that for a little while, and I was working a lot. I had my full-time job, and I would come
Right.
home from work and work until like 10 p.m. making cakes and cupcakes and cake pops for people.
Wow.
And I did some weddings. I did a lot of stuff. It was really fun, but then it was just like not fun anymore.
Yeah.
So I actually closed that bakery, and I still wanted to share my recipes with people. So I started putting them on a website. And at that time, it was April like the month dot blogspot.com.
Okay. Okay.
And there were people who wanted my recipes. So I transitioned into Fresh April Flowers and started that officially in April 2014.
2014. Okay.
So I did that on the side. I was monetized by the fall, not making a ton of money, but by the time that was 2014. And by 2019, I was making a decent amount of money. And at
Wow.
that point, we had a 1-year-old, a 3-year-old, a small business, my small business, my real job, and marriage.
I was
And
gonna say it's amazing that you were able to accomplish all of that in
I
in
actually don't
between.
know how we did that. I really don't. There's
Right?
like some like blank spots in my head. I think that's
Yeah,
what
because you
happened.
just did it. You just
Yeah.
did it.
So in the summer of 2019, we just kind of talked about what it would look like for me to quit my job. And by the fall, I was done. 2019, October 2019, I quit my job, and
Okay.
I've been doing this full time ever since.
Amazing.
So There we are.
There we are. And I was going to say, I know you did it before. You did it before it was cool. But I remember during COVID saying to my husband, I think a lot of people are going to re-examine during this point in time, like their life choices. And I wonder if after the fact, and now we're 6 years past it, but if a lot of people will have made a lot of changes. And I wonder if you hadn't done it by October of 2019. I mean, once COVID came, if that would have been your jumping off
You
point
know
instead.
what? Honestly, though, I'm glad that I quit when I did because it 6 months later, well, no, 4 months later, the world was shut down
Mhm.
and my website was getting so much traffic, but the earnings were in the toilet because
Okay.
advertisers had pulled everything out. It was,
Right.
for lack of a better word, I hate this word. It was very unprecedented.
Yeah. In these unprecedented times, as everyone
Exactly.
said. Yeah.
Exactly. So I would have been an essential employee had I still been working at the
Oh,
lab,
wow.
and my husband would have been trying to literally turn our business from a physical location overnight onto
Right.
online, plus also a 1 and a 3-year-old
Mm-hmm.
at that point.
Mm-hmm. I had
It
a
would
one
have
and a
been
three-year-old then too. Look at us.
yeah,
Wasn't that
yeah.
wonderful?
So I think, it happened at the right time, and I'm glad that it happened when it did because
Yeah.
the COVID times were really awful for our family.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Right. Especially two small businesses. Like, yeah.
it was actually awful. So, there are
Yeah.
a lot of people who are like, I'm kind of miss COVID because of
Mm,
X, Y, and Z. And I'm like,
no.
no, it wasn't really
We
like
like to
that.
eat in our house. We like to
It
be
was
able to
rough.
take
It
care of
was
our
rough.
children.
And like there were good parts. Like, actually, our whole row of neighbors, like we are all self-employed. And
Oh,
so we
wow.
would just sit on the driveway and be like,
Contemplate life and
well,
life choices.
I mean, it's 12 o'clock. I guess we can open some White Claws now.
Yeah. It's technically noon, right?
It was
Yeah.
rough. But I'm glad that it worked out when it did. And we've always said if both of our businesses could make it through COVID, we can do pretty much
You're
anything.
good. Yeah, you already did it early on, so you're all set. The
Yeah.
other thing I wanted to say is I think I told you this that my husband's family owns a bakery and he always says that and people say to us like that sounds like so much fun. That's so fun. And he doesn't work there anymore. He stopped working there about 10 years ago, but his parents owned it. His grandparents owned it, his parents own it now. His brothers own it. His brother owns it. But that's the first thing people say is like, that must have been so much fun. And he's like, so, except for on a Hallmark Christmas movie, it's a business, it's a job, it's work. And, people are unhappy with you. And some people are thrilled with what you do and they love your recipes, but it's not all cute and adorable and fun every day. And I'm sure you have experienced that when you had your cottage bakery and even online. People have things to say no matter what. So
Yeah.
I get that for you.
Yes.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes. But when
Very
you when you look at them on Hallmark, it is adorable. And he'll
It
say
is
like they don't even have
adorable.
enough product in their cases. And I'm like, "Can you just let me enjoy this? I don't know what they're selling there to stay open." And he's like, "They've got 4 donuts and 3 cookies." I'm like, "Stop it.
Seriously. Don't
Stop
believe
it."
it, people. Don't believe it.
It's not as
Mhm.
cute as it looks.
No.
And Lynn, what about your family and your hobbies and all the spare time that you have?
So it's funny that you ask about hobbies because I have been talking over the last year or so. I've been really contemplating where did my hobbies go?
They
Because
turned into work.
they turned into work. The
Yeah.
last hobby that I had turned into my job.
Yeah.
And my dad died in August last year,
Okay.
and I sort of just like reevaluated everything. I also, so he died in August and then I turned 40 in September.
Okay.
So talk about just like
Life happening.
life
Yes.
happening.
Yes.
I kind of just had this realization like I'm a mom and I'm a wife and a business owner, but like where did Lynn go?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
oh, so in the past, out of like 6 or so months, I have taken on two more hobbies that I never
Oh,
got to get
do
paid for.
tell. Okay.
This is gonna sound silly, but I started reading again.
Yes.
I kind of had a genre that I really liked, like,
Okay.
silly romance novels. Like they're
Hmm.
just easy reads.
Yes.
I actually was reading one when my dad died. And I think it just kind of put a sour taste in my mouth. Like I just
Yeah.
I couldn't pick up where I left off. And
Hmm.
oddly enough, I started reading this book in June before my dad ever got sick. And the main character, the first page of the novel, it's the day of her dad's
Oh,
funeral.
how weird.
So
Okay.
yeah, so it was just, I was like, I don't
We
want to
won't
finish
finish
this
this
book.
one.
I'm not going to finish this
Oh,
book.
we're good.
And so I was like having a hard time picking up another book. So
Yes.
for a few months, I wasn't reading and I was like, man, I really miss this.
Right.
So this year I've started I am all over the place. I've started with some historical fiction. I read a book about nuclear war. Like
Oh,
I'm
you're
just like
everywhere.
I'm everywhere. And it's
Okay.
been fun because I forgot how fun reading is
Hmm.
because you just you're in a world. And like
Yeah.
I was reading a book. Have you read Atmosphere by Taylor Jenkins?
I have it sitting literally on my like chest of drawers in my bedroom, but I said summer, I always say summer is my time to read because during the
Okay.
school year, I'm like, I can't.
Yeah.
So here I
So
am.
okay, you got to read it.
Is it good? Okay.
It was so good. And I finished it. So I was sobbing. Like, couldn't, like, when you're like, I
But
can't
doesn't that feel
read it.
good sometimes?
It's
Gosh, I
so
love
good.
like a story that
So
makes you, and then
good.
you don't want to like leave those characters. Yes.
Yes,
Yes.
yes. But I'm sobbing, crying,
Okay.
finishing this book as like a UPS driver comes up and is like delivering something. And it's those moments where you're like, I am in my own world right
Yes.
now. And
Yes.
this delivery person doesn't even know how wrecked my life is. Thank you
I
for
have
the
just been
packet.
destroyed, and he's bringing me garbage bags in a box.
Exactly. So that has been something that has been back in my life and that I
Love
can
that.
spend a lot more time on in the summer since I'm not
Yes.
working, which we're going to talk about
And
briefly
I
here.
did you also do that like I kind of did the thing not on intentionally, but when my kids were little for probably 5 years, I love to read and I didn't read a book for myself just because I was exhausted and I didn't have time and I was reading kids books all the time, but it was one of those things that I sort of quote unquote lost when I had little kids. And then I find
Mhm.
that I'm slowly like getting myself back to, like you're saying, you're kind of like, oh,
Absolutely.
I have the bandwidth for this and the time for this. And
Yeah.
yeah. And I have a
Yeah.
list of probably 250 books on my
Yeah.
phone that I would like to read. If I get through like 6 or 7 of them this summer, and I have
Yeah.
like asterisks next to all of them. I'm like, why did I
This
put
one.
an asterisk? I think I'm supposed to really read
Yeah.
this one. I'm like, I don't
Really read it.
know. This is really a good one. But
Yeah.
yeah, I
Yes.
I
So
agree with you.
that is something that's come back into my life. And I wanted to go to France for my 40th birthday with my
Okay.
husband. And I took French in middle school, high school, and I did some in college too.
Okay.
And I have always loved the French culture. I think the language is beautiful. I think the way that they say things is beautiful. I think some of the structure of the things that they say, for example, they say in French, you don't say I miss you, you say it's a reflexive verb, which means like
Okay.
you are missing from me. So you say
Oh,
tu me manque, which means you are missing from me.
oh,
And so
that's
things
beautiful.
like that I just like love about the French language.
Yes.
And so I've picked up again learning French.
Great.
So I have a private tutor once a week. I'm learning on
Okay.
my own. My Instagram feed is like baked goods and French.
And French. Yeah. And aren't you taking a trip? Did I see that? Are you taking a trip? You're like taking people on a trip,
And I
correct?
am taking people to France next year.
That's amazing.
On I'm doing it with Trova Trip. This is not an advertisement for
No,
them. They're just
no,
who
just
I'm
tell
doing
us.
it for. They are like a kind of a platform for people who have audiences who
Okay.
are like online audiences who
Yeah.
want to get their people together and like a group trip.
Oh, neat.
But you can also join, like if you're a solo traveler but you don't want to travel by yourself, but you still want to travel by yourself, you
Hmm.
can sign up for like a group trip. Um,
Oh, wow.
like you can find a trip where you can just like go with people who are other
Right.
solo travelers. So I have a mix of people who are in my community,
Okay.
and then I also have a couple people who just like found my trip,
Oh, wow.
who are interested in baking because what I did was there's like set itineraries
Okay.
and
And did you get to set it or no?
no,
Okay.
they kind of have like framework put
But
out
you're
for
like
you.
their leader.
Yeah, their
Okay.
leader, yes.
Take me to your
And
leader.
so I asked, it was like a southern France trip, and it was like a winery tour. And
Okay.
I don't drink, so I was like, I'll still go to that, but is there a
Right.
chance that we could do like a baking class? And so
Right.
they came back with like you can take all of these baking classes instead. And I was like, yes. So
Yes.
now it's like it's a group trip, but now it's like a relevant group trip. And
Wow.
yes, you can come bake with me in southern France in April 2027 if you would like to.
That's amazing. I will. That is, and is there still space in it? Like, could people
There
still join?
is,
Because
yeah,
we
we
can
still.
link, I can link in the show notes
Oh my gosh, that would be
to that.
amazing.
Yeah. Or
Yeah,
we could
we
do a
have.
post about it or something.
Yeah,
So,
we still
yeah.
have 11 spots. So we have
And
like
when I am a
11 of us
retired
going.
teacher in, 800 more years,
Yeah,
I'll come with you. How about that?
so there you
When I'm
go.
finished teaching, when I'm 7,000 years
Yeah.
old,
Right.
that's really cool. That's great.
Yeah.
And will your family go with you?
Oh,
Oh, even better. So you don't want to be paid and you don't want them with you. Read a book and go to France. Leave me alone.
yeah, yeah,
And
honestly.
how long are you going? Like a week, 10 days?
Like 5 days, but I'm gonna make it like a longer trip out of it.
Yes, you might as well. And did you and your husband ever go or you haven't gone yet?
So yeah, so in the fall, in October, we went to
Okay.
Nice.
Okay.
We went to Paris and we went to Nice and then we went to Rome. And so
Okay.
this trip is actually going back to Nice. So
Amazing.
it's such a beautiful part of France. I actually didn't even know that France could look that way until I got there.
Is it like fields of lavender?
There
That's
are
what I
fields
always
of
picture.
lavender. Yeah, we didn't actually see those when we were there, but we will
Okay.
see them on this group trip. But I love Paris and like Paris is amazing and
Hmm.
beautiful. But the south of France is just it's so different. It's slower. It kind of felt like it reminded me of like a beach town in
Oh,
California, but
okay.
speaking French, so there's lots of croissants.
I mean, and butter and chocolate. So I'd be
Exactly.
in no matter what.
Yeah, yeah.
That sounds
So
awesome.
so just being able to like discover that, and especially because my kids are a little bit older now, so
Yeah. How
I
old are your
found
kids? Are they
they
mine are seven
just
and nine?
they just turned 10 and 8.
Okay, so we're like kind of right there. Okay.
Just right there. Yeah.
Right there.
So I this is part of where like learning French and reading came back in is that
Yes.
when it became spring again, we're outside and even up until last year there was still a little of the like not supervision of play dates, but like, hey,
Yes.
we're gonna go play here.
Uh-huh.
We're all gonna go.
Hmm.
And now it just kind of transitioned to that like they're going off on their own, they're riding their bikes to play with their friends. And I love that for
Yes.
them. That's the whole point of raising kids is to give them
Right.
independence and
Right. Go
let them
play.
figure that go play.
Yeah.
And I would be sitting in the driveway like, oh crap,
Yeah,
I
now what?
what do I do now? And I'm
What
like,
about
oh,
me?
I can read now. I can learn
Yes.
my French. So that stuff has like come back to me, which
And
is a really nice phase of parenting.
I feel like it's that I'm sure we all learned it in middle school. Is it like, I'm gonna totally mess this up, but somebody's like hierarchy of life. And it's, in your teens, you're finding yourself. In your 20s, you're figuring yourself out. In your 30s, you're mostly getting married and having kids, and you're in that. And then in like your 40s and 50s, is it self-actualization? I don't know. I'm going back way
Yeah.
far, but I think and I have felt a little of that in myself of like, it's time for me to kind of take myself back. And like I started this podcast and, like doing things that interest me. Because again, you
Mhm.
feel like you have the time, you feel like you don't care what other people think anymore. So like it doesn't, if what I want to do isn't really cool, that's okay. I was never cool,
Yeah.
but like now I don't care. And so I'll just do it. Or, so I love that
Right.
for both of us. Good for us.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Yes,
I mean,
it's so fun.
yeah, that's great. Okay, well, gosh, I feel like we know you really well now. And you have two boys, correct?
Two boys.
Two boys.
Yes.
Okay, and I have an
Mhm.
older boy and a younger girl.
Okay.
So, you gave us a great introduction to yourself. What would you say? So you went from being a biologist to having your own business. What does your kind of life or your day look like these days? Like you send your kids off to school and how does that? I've always been interested in this like online life. So what does it look like?
Yeah, so I actually have I'm it's funny because it's pretty structured, but it
Okay.
also is very flexible. And I try to keep my days very structured, like what I do on certain days so that I
Okay.
don't get confusion. And that I don't feel like I get to Friday and I'm like, oh crap, I didn't do
Did
any of
nothing.
these things. Yeah.
Yeah.
So the nice part about being your own boss is that I try my hardest not to work 40 hours a week. And I've done a pretty good job.
That sounds
So
great.
Mondays are like, this is most specifically during the school year because I
Okay.
do take the summers off. Some of my,
Yes, and I want to talk about that too.
yeah. Some of my days are the same in the summer, but for the most part, this is just during the school year. So Mondays are like the kids are off to school and I am on the computer. I am
Okay.
writing my recipe for that or like my recipe post for that week. I'm editing photos. Like it's just I love Mondays because I'm it's kind of slow, but it's also
You feel like you
still
get a lot done.
getting a lot done. Yes.
And
And
hang on, can I ask you, do you write your own, like you create your own recipes?
yeah, and I write my
Wow.
own posts and everything. It is all me in there.
And
Yeah.
you do photography too, or did you have to pick all of that up as well?
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
okay.
And that is also part of this. So Monday is my whole computer day. Tuesday is usually the day. That's the day that I do my workout.
Okay.
It's kind of a catch-all day. Like if I have something to do in the afternoon, I'll do it. It's also when I do my ingredient shopping.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
so that is that day and any kind of like leftover stuff that I didn't get to do on Monday.
Gotcha.
Wednesday and Thursday are my shoot days, and I use artificial light, which I discovered in 2020 when during the pandemic, because I was
Hmm.
like, what else? I can learn something, I guess. So that completely changed my workflow because
Interesting.
I am just baking on those days. I don't have to worry
Okay.
about what it's doing outside.
Right.
Um, so Wednesday and Thursday are shoot and baking days.
And how
And
many recipes would you say you do in those 2 days
so it
total?
depends if I have help or not. I
Okay.
have my kitchen assistant, Laura, is with me. She used to be with me every week.
Okay.
And that was when I was writing my cookbook. So I'm glad that she was there. We have bumped that down to once a month. So
Okay.
on a week where I don't have her, I'll usually do two or three myself over those 2 days.
Okay.
When she's with me, we can do more like 4 to 6,
Oh,
depending on
wow.
the
Okay.
complexity. So I'm typically getting about 8 to 10 recipes done a month.
Okay.
And some of those are brand new. A lot of them are updates. Um,
Okay.
Old stuff that doesn't have a video, that never had processed photos, that just could use a lot of work because when you've been doing that, I've been doing this for 12 years now.
Yeah.
So a lot of my content is just like old. And
Right.
I
And
am
the food's
very
still good. You can just refresh it and yeah,
yes. And like
recipes are great.
so much work goes into making a new recipe. And of course I love doing that. And that's why I have this job.
Would you say your science background helped with that? I'm assuming. I
Yeah,
mean,
absolutely. Like
yeah.
it's I and a lot of those recipes were written before I really dove into the science part of baking and like being really exact. If you come to my website or you talk to me on Instagram or consume any of my content on Instagram,
Mhm.
you know that if you aren't using a scale to weigh your flour, like
Can't be friends.
and we can't be friends.
My husband would get along well with you.
And so a lot of my recipes before I really started to hone in on that and kind of make that part of my identity as a creator weren't written that way. So sometimes I do have to go back and like, just
Redo it.
redo it and
Yeah.
make sure that it is up to my standards and that it is as repeatable as I claim it to be.
Okay. And do you find that you make like little changes, little tweaks here and there?
Yeah, I do. It's not usually life-changing or devastating, but I do feel better and more comfortable knowing that it has been tested with my current the way that I bake and with the
Right.
way I make recipes, and the way I teach other people how to
It's like
bake.
recipe 2.0, right? Just a little glow
Yeah,
up on the recipe.
yeah, right. Because who would I be if I wasn't also evolving as a baker and learning as
Right.
a baker?
And if you're like,
Um,
this is from 12 years ago, it's fine. Like the whole
yeah,
world has changed in 12 years. Maybe your recipe would have a little something different about it.
right. So Wednesdays and Thursdays are very much dedicated to that, all of that, the testing, the photographing, videoing, because everything that gets a video now.
Hmm.
And then Friday is another kind of like catch-all day. Sometimes it
Okay.
ends up being like a computer day. Sometimes it ends up being a nothing day. I try to keep it flexible, but Mondays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays are like I get so much stuff done.
That.
Um, and that
Now, if there's something happening at school for your sons on a Monday afternoon, do you feel like you were saying it's pretty rigid yet very flexible? Like you can
yeah.
take that time off or go to
Oh,
that show or help with
and
that project?
yes, and I forgot to mention I'm also a PTO co-president.
Oh, samesies, vice president, but yes. Hey,
Oh,
more
we have a
similarities.
we have a co-presidency because I they say that it feels like more like co-working than like somebody above somebody else.
It's
Everybody
a
does it
lot of
differently.
work. Our
It's
co-presidents, I'm like, I bow down to them. I just do
a
like
lot.
teacher appreciation and like help with different things. But our co-presidents, I'm like, it's sort of like a full-time job.
It
So
is. It's a
thank
lot.
you.
So
Yeah.
this was my first year. It's a 2-year presidency. So
Okay.
this was my first year doing that. And so this coming year, I'll have a third grader and a fifth grader, and it'll be our second year. So we really know what we're doing.
Yeah.
So yeah, I do need to keep things open for that. If I can help it, I will schedule appointments for myself when I know I have like a Tuesday or a Friday when I
Right.
know that I have that space. But if things come up, they come up. I try my hardest not to bake on Friday, but that's
Okay.
the other nice thing about Friday kind of being a catch-all day is that if a kid hmm, threw up on the way to the bus stop and now they're
Just
home all
saying.
day,
Yeah.
just
Just
saying a
saying as an
hypothetical situation,
example.
I can say like, oh, you know what? I don't really want to bake on Friday this week, but it makes more sense to move this. So like I can do
So
that.
you do have a little time. And I guess the beauty, because do you cook in your house and you bake in
Yeah,
your house?
my studio is in our kitchen.
So I
Yeah.
guess the beauty and the non-beauty is that it's always there, but that it's always there. But if you needed to, bake something at 8:30 at night or something, you can, but you don't have to.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
And weekends are like, no, I am
Good one. Good.
not baking on weekends.
Is it hard to turn it
Yeah.
off? Is
What's
it is
that?
it hard for you to like turn it off because it's right there or not really? Because you feel like you've
The
accomplished so much during the week.
The content creation, no. It's
Okay.
actually very easy for me. I don't have no. And if it's a way, it's a way.
Yeah.
I do love Instagram, so I sometimes will get sucked into Instagram, but no, I've gotten a lot better at like actually turning it off and
Good.
like making sure that my phone is away from me
Hmm.
once it's like after dinner and then we're doing all the things like
Yeah, like you're not at work
no,
anymore.
nobody needs me. There is not a baking emergency that cannot wait until
I burnt my cookies. We'll talk about it tomorrow. Yeah, yeah. I mean,
But honestly, that does happen. Some people are like, I'm about to put this in the oven. Here's my question. And I'm
you're
like,
like, I'm not like a hotline.
no,
Call me.
I'm not your personal baking assistant right
Right.
now. But like
Right.
tomorrow during baking hours,
Maybe. Yes, I will get back to you.
yeah, it's wild. But I know it has not always been super easy for me to turn it off, but ever since I turned 40 and got more hobbies, it's easy.
Because you have books to read and you need to dream about France. So
Exactly. I have priorities.
I got things to do here, people. I cannot be your helper all the time.
Yeah.
Let's move into our win and our challenge of the week. And then I feel like we've had half of our conversation, but we'll just keep going. So, do you want to start with a win or a challenge? I'll let you decide.
Does it have to have happened this week? It's only Monday.
Hmm. I mean, any recent win.
Hold on. Okay. Yes.
Okay.
I randomly decided to buy our family a pool membership for this summer.
Mm. Okay, I'm gonna have to ask you about that after we stop recording because we just found out that we live, what, 10 minutes away from each other and we have all these things in
Come to our
common
pool.
when we were
Yeah.
talking before we started recording. So I have an
Yeah.
idea of which one it might be because I've been looking into them and I'm like, I am not spending that much money for a month at the pool. So we'll talk.
So I found one that made a lot of sense for us. And I wasn't sure how it was going to work out
Okay.
because I don't know. We're just going to try this.
Yeah.
Bought it last Thursday, like the 11th. And we've been there 6 times already.
Oh,
And the nice part, this is like, how you like just like realize like dumb stuff about
yes.
things.
Yes. That
We can
happens to me
go,
all the time.
we can go for an hour and I don't feel like we've wasted our membership, you
Right.
know?
Right.
It's like, okay,
We were
like
there.
yesterday on Father's Day, like I had my husband, like we do whatever you want today. And he's like, well, I want to go to the pool, but I don't want to be there all day. And I also want to do this and this and this. And I was like, well, this is the beauty of us having paid for this whole
Right.
summer.
We can
We
go for
can
10
go for,
minutes.
yeah,
Yeah.
we can go for like a little bit. And we did. We went for an hour. And I think
Great.
30 minutes of it, they were in the pool, and the other 30, they were playing Gaga Ball and like this like Tetris thing. Like there's
Great.
other stuff to do at the pool. You don't have to just be swimming. And like you could also go, and believe you me, when my kids are at camp, I will be taking my book to the pool and like reading
Yes.
there.
Yes. Yes. And the thing
Oh,
is, I feel like there aren't any community. pools. I don't know how it is in the rest of the United States, but it's either like you belong to a country club, which I do not, or you
Mhm.
belong to a Y or a some kind of like fitness place. But it's, I'm like, I really only need it like half of June and July and half of August, and that's hard to find. So I'm interested to hear what you have to say. But
Yeah, I think you might join our pool
okay,
instead.
because our kids, my kids, we did at Westchester University, they have these like learn to swim or else swim lessons that we did a couple weeks ago.
We're
Were you
doing them
there? I feel like
now.
you were probably there.
No, no, but we're doing them now. We do them every summer,
That's so
and
funny. Yeah, we did them
we
two
do
weeks ago.
yeah, we do the first 2 weeks after school so that we don't, before we start camp, it's kind of like they have it at 3 p.m. today. Love
Oh,
them.
love it. Yes. Yes. It
Yeah.
was, yeah, it was a good, I don't know that my children could save themselves, but we're getting there. So I was like, it's better than, than where we were.
Yeah.
So anyway, all right. So my win going along with camp is that my children packed it up and took themselves off to camp today. And in the township where we are, there is a little township camp, East Whiteland Township Camp, and it's actually run by my neighbor, and it is like old school fun. They are there all day, which I used to feel guilty about. And now that that mine are going into second and fourth, and I'm
They
like, they
have
don't want to hang
so
out
much
with me.
fun.
They don't want to hang
No.
out with me.
And
They
they're with their
they're
friends.
with their friends. They play Nerf gun games, and they're having like ice cream tomorrow or something, and they do tie-dye, and they have a talent show. And I'm like, it's all the fun summer things that I don't
Mhm.
really want to do. So they still get to do it. And and I was like, I never have time alone. And last year my daughter said to me, Mommy, are you going to be lonely? And I was like, honey, I'm never ever in my life lonely. I always have people who need me. During the school year, it's 25 children who need me at a time. During the summer, it's two children who need me at a time. I never have
Mhm.
not me time, but time to like get stuff done and do stuff. So it's kind of like a treat for me and a treat for them. So they were thrilled to go today. They were up and ready to go and jumped right out of the car. And, and it's 4 weeks, and then we do all of our other stuff too. But I feel like I was probably just as excited for it as they were. Cause I'm like, after
Love
the
camp.
whole year of school and the whole, I'm like, I can clean my bedroom. I'm dedicating a whole day to like each of their bedrooms. I'm going to clean out the closet. Like it's just, or I'll meet somebody for breakfast, or I'll, I don't know, maybe work out for, once in a while, or whatever it is. So that is my win. So
Love it.
bless the people at East Whiteland Camp because they make my summer.
Love
And
it.
how about your challenge?
Oh, geez. I I don't know. I haven't had any huge challenges.
Okay, that's good.
I'm sure I'll think you go and maybe
Okay.
jog
Well,
my memory.
mine might jog your memory a little. You were talking about your father passing away, and my father-in-law passed away last week, and he was 92 years old. He was a wonderful man. He was a master baker. He lived in Florida for the last 6 years, so my kids hadn't seen him in person, but talked to him on FaceTime all the time. He was sharp as a knife. I mean, he knew their grades, their teams, their hobbies, their interests. They had little jokes and inside things, and they would talk to him all the time. So we're going through a little bit of a like my 9-year-old gets it. My 7-year-old, it's like kind of funny because she'll ask questions like, "Can we FaceTime Opa?" And I'm like, "Honey," and she's like, "Oh right, he's dead." Bleh. And I'm like, "Catherine, you can't say it like that." But she'll say, "Can we go down to Florida? Like, is his body there? Is his?" So we're employing a lot of our Catholic. I'm like to my husband, "Go ahead, yeah, I'm gonna let you take this one." But we've read books and we've had conversations, but it kind of comes and goes. And because they didn't see him in person a lot, I don't know. I don't know. So we haven't, he's the first person that they both know, who they have had a relationship with, who has passed away. So my 9-year-old, he cried several times. And then my daughter would cry, but I think because he was crying, like he
Mhm.
gets it, where she, I think, is a little more like she's really trying hard to understand it, but she's like not quite there yet. And every once in a while, she'll say to my husband, Daddy, Oma and Opa are dead, right? And he's like, oh my gosh, yes.
Mhm.
But so I'm like, we could say they passed away, that, or like, are they in heaven? Where is heaven? Like it's a lot to take in, but it's all part of the process. So
Mhm.
it's a
Well,
challenge.
okay. So similarly, then this is sort of just like a challenge that's just always there right
Mhm.
now is so our older son just turned 10. And
Okay.
with that has come it basically like the last year or so.
Hmm.
He is such a big kid now And we've had some really tough conversations.
Hmm.
So I feel like we've been in this kind of sweet spot of parenting. And I feel like we're still in it. And I feel like it's going to last a little bit longer.
Hmm.
It's also, I can see like the tough parts creeping in. And I'm talking about like we've had the puberty talk and
Oh yeah.
had we've had lots of conversations about like bodily autonomy and consent in the
Hmm.
context of those conversations about
Hmm.
puberty and things like
Hmm.
that. And with that comes a lot of questions, which I'm so happy about because he's understanding it and he's conceptualizing it and he
Right.
wants to have that those he wants to know things.
Hmm.
And but I'm like, bro,
How'd we get here?
what happened?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I also say it's really strange to have this be in this weird spot where my child, our child, knows what sex is, but also
Wow.
still does like watching Bluey.
Right, right. And play, my son every once in a while will still play like little figure toys or play kitchen or whatever. And yet, like, don't forget your
Yes.
deodorant, honey.
Right.
You know? And you're like,
Yes.
yeah,
Like
yeah. It's
we're
a
still
weird
in this
middle.
like child phase where he still wants to play in the yard and like play
Hmm.
with sticks and rocks and like discover stuff, but
But
then
he knows how he got
also
here.
but he knows how he got
Ew,
here.
mom. Yeah.
And sometimes we'll be playing and be like, "Mommy, also," and I'm like,
You're
"Oh
like, oh, here it comes.
God."
Here it comes.
That I think is just like an overall like life challenge that kind
Yeah.
of with parenting and it's just always there. And you're just like, I'm not sure if this question is going to be like about what snack he can have or like sex. So
Right. Or like, what is happening to my body? And you're like, okay, okay. You know which one I'm not looking forward to? Because I teach family life. So like whatever, penis, scrotum, period, whatever you want to talk about, I'm all
yeah.
for it. I am concerned because I feel like maybe I'm an overprotective parent. My parents, my husband and I are, I mean, we let our kids have fun, we go and do things, but I'm a little overprotective and I will admit that fully, and that's okay with me. Um, so we're very honest with our kids. The conversation I am nervous about is the one about school shootings. And maybe that's because I'm a
Mm.
teacher. Like, because we'll have the conversation of like, oh, you're gonna have a lockdown drill tomorrow. And the kids are like, okay. And my 7-year-old will be like, because if a wolf got into the school, then they could eat us. That's how they teach them. And I love that because that's very like developmentally correct, whatever. But I'm like, there's gonna come a point in time where my son will and my daughter will look at me and say, is that in case somebody comes into the school with a gun? And that scares me. That, I mean, in general, that scares me to death anyway. But that, like, I'm like, we can talk about like your penis all day long. I don't care about that. But that kind of scary world stuff, or like we've had conversations, like I'll say something about, that person was taking drugs. Well, what does that mean? And I'm like, oh crap. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just things that, and I'm honest and I tell them what they need to know, but that I like how to compose myself
Hmm.
when those things scare me as a parent or scare me as a person, or you know what I mean? That, so yeah, I know what you mean, because you can kind of sugarcoat things, or kids aren't aware of certain things happening in the world, or, and there comes a point where you have to be brutally honest, and that can
Yeah.
be tough. It can be really
Yeah.
tough.
Yeah.
So.
The bigger kids, it's the bigger kids, bigger problems thing.
Mhm.
But you could not pay me enough to go back to under 5.
Yeah. I mean, I look at pictures of them and I'm like, gosh, they were so cute and snuggly and had like less attitude. But like, I do really like I said, if I could pause first grade and third grade or second grade and fourth grade, I think that's a good place to be. Like, before we get too big, but we're not too
Hmm.
small. Everybody can like dress themselves and feed
Oh
themselves
my
and
gosh. Yes.
take a shower by themselves, all of those things I like. But, I would like a 6-month-old to just play with for like 3 hours and then
Yeah.
bring them back. I'm like, bring me a little lovey baby to squish.
Bring
And
me
then,
somebody. Yes, bring me somebody I can snuggle, but then also give me back the kids who can tell me what they need.
yes, or who can maybe like, if you're thirsty, honey, the sink is right there. By all means, help yourself. Like, you know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like,
It's
yeah,
a game changer.
oh, you're not going to do it for me? No, no. So yes, but you're right. Those conversations do get
Mhm.
a little trickier and a little harder. Okay, so let's fast forward a little bit. So I have a couple because I'm just interested in this. How did you know once you were baking and biologying and having kids and whatever, how did you know like, hey, this will work for me to do as a job. I
Right.
can quit my job. I can make this happen. And like, did you have to have like a 6 month transition to check, or were you all set, or like, how did that happen?
That's a really good question because I had everybody's experience is different with deciding to quit their job and like
Right.
pursue something full time. Like, what does the other partner in your household have? Like, are you a dual income? Like, what's the situation?
Yeah.
And so my husband he started our gym in 2014. And
And
so
that's right around when you really started, right?
yeah, that's when I started my website, but he was essentially 5 years ahead of like the self-employed part because until
Gotcha.
I quit my job, like it was making me a decent amount of money, but it was
Yeah.
still like I had still had my salary and
Right.
my benefits and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
So him being that much further ahead of me, 5 years is a long time in entrepreneurship.
Yeah.
And so it was very easy for me to kind of just like bring this up to my husband, like, hey, I
Hey.
feel like something needs to change. And instead of him being like, whoa, that's scary, he was like, thank God,
Oh,
finally.
wow. Okay,
And
that's great.
yeah, so at the time, I was making from my job $60,000 and
Okay.
my blog was making 30.
Okay.
And so I was like, if I got rid of the 60,000 and got 40 plus hours back in my life, commute time, all that kind of stuff,
Right.
do I think that I could double my income? And my husband was like, 1000%
Hmm.
you could. And I
Hmm.
was like, I don't know. And he's like, no, data. He's like, no, you could. You
Oh, okay. He
absolutely.
had it all figured out for you.
Yeah. And of course his business is very different from mine, but in general, these things are when you study business like he did and
Right. A
had
model is a model.
is a exactly. So I quit my job and then so my goal in 2020 the first full self-employed year was to replace my salary.
Okay.
And my blog made $57,000 that year.
Hey, pretty good.
So I was like, I think we can do this. And
Yeah.
then the next year, it made significantly more. And then the
Okay.
next year, and it kept growing. And so I just, like, I'm never going back.
Yeah.
And we've pivoted so many times, both of our businesses that I feel like pivoting used to sound scary. And it used to
Hmm.
sound like if you asked me 5 years ago, what's the blog going to look like in 5 years, I would have had no idea. And 10 years ago, me would have been like, that's horrifying.
Right.
How
I will always be a biologist. I will always go to work. Yeah.
Yes. And now I don't know what things are going to look like in 5 years. And that is exciting because I get to decide.
Right. And you
And
know it'll be fine no matter what because
I
you've
know
done
it'll
it.
be fine. Like something will change. So I don't know what it is. Like
Yeah.
it's the fun part about being creative. And to some people, like my former coworkers, I'm still good friends with them. They will retire at that job, and that is fine for them.
Yeah.
They like the structure, they like the
Mhm.
dependability. And like when I talk about, oh, I don't know what's gonna happen, like I don't know what I'm gonna do,
We'll find out.
they're like,
Come up with a new
what?
icing recipe. Yeah.
Yeah.
They have like heart attacks, heart
Yeah.
palpitations.
So it's definitely not for everybody, but I've learned that that actually is I really like that part about my job.
Yeah.
Um, so that it's exciting. It's exciting. So if I could go back and tell myself I could have quit before then,
Yeah.
I'm glad that I did. I'm glad I did it when I did before my husband was like, you should quit your job. And I was
Right.
like, no, 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 no.
I'm good. I'm good.
I would never even, in fact, in like April 2019, I still was like, there is no way I'm ever quitting my job.
And then you were like, and when was your first child born? 2015?
16. So
Okay, so you had been at it for
yeah.
a year or so.
Yeah, so we had
Okay.
we had a 1.5-year-old or I'm sorry, a 1-year-old and a 3-year-old when I decided to quit my job, and it was a 1.5-year-old and a 3.5-year-old when the world shut down. So
Great, great times to do
yeah,
everything. Yeah, yeah, got that.
yeah. So yeah, so that's
And
kind of when I realized.
it's funny too because you went from biology, which people would think of as a certain type or a certain personality, to such a creative, like you must be a double-minded person of this, have this like very analytical, data kind of methodical way about you, which then I also, as I'm saying, it also bodes well for cooking and baking and all of that, but to turn it into like content creation and recipe writing and you're kind of you must be a very talented person.
Well, thank you. I think that the way that I go about my business, everybody does their business differently. Some people are like, I don't know what I'm making or posting next week. And I've never operated that way. But if that works for you, that's totally fine.
Yeah.
You don't have to do it the way that I do it. But in like September to November of every year, I am planning the entire next year
Mm,
of
that
content.
makes sense.
And that kind of speaks to the analytical and like that kind of side of my brain
Hmm.
that I have a plan. I kind of just work backwards from the outcome, what I want, when I want it, and then
Right.
I just work backwards until I get to today, and I'm like, okay, this is what I need
Here
to
we
do.
are.
Yeah.
Well, and that probably keeps you on track as well, like
It does.
in terms
It
of,
helps me. It definitely keeps me from veering off shiny object syndrome, especially in like the food world. There are food trends,
mhm.
and there are some people who thrive on like jumping on the food trends, and good for them.
Dot cake. Have you made any dot cakes?
I've
I don't
not made a
really
dot
get
cake.
them.
I have
I don't really.
not.
I'm like, it's a cake with like sprinkles on it. Okay, I'm just yeah.
Exactly.
Anyway,
Exactly.
moving on.
So it's stuff like that but I then also can I can still use what's trending and what's
Right.
shiny syndrome to sort of poke fun at it because I have a beautiful and delicious and easy to make funfetti recipe funfetti cake
Right.
recipe on my website. Like I think I posted a reel a couple weeks ago that was like, you can keep your dot cake. I'm gonna
Yeah.
make
I think I saw that. Uh-huh.
so
Yeah.
like I still can like dabble in what's trending because I social media is so like it's ever
Talk about shiny
changing.
object. Yeah.
Yeah. So it does help me having my structure helps me keep my website is so much it's so separate from my social.
Hmm.
And I think once you figure that out, you can kind of like it's fun. I know what's going on my blog, but like I
Yeah.
have no idea what I'm putting on Instagram tomorrow. And
Right.
that's fun.
That's the fun part.
I wake up every morning. This is something that I do every single day. Every morning when we're relaxing, I'm having my coffee, the kids are doing their screen time and having their breakfast. Like it's just a lazy morning and I'm like creating my reels. That's
Yeah.
when I'm doing it. And that's like it gets me creatively thinking. I wake up and I'm like making thinking about my
What are
coffee
we
and
going to
what I'm
post
gonna put on it.
today? Yeah.
Yeah. So that's
So
the
you get to
fun.
use all those different parts of you.
Do.
Yeah.
Exactly. So it's built into different parts and the way that it works for me, the way it works for me to consume my content, to create my content, and that's the fun part.
So interesting. I mean, because we talked about again before we started recording that Rachel Farnsworth of the Stay-at-Home Chef,
Yeah.
who I
Yes.
love her, and she talks a lot about how she does her stuff and how she's been doing it for 16, 18 years, whatever. And it's so interesting for me to hear like your process, her, and how you've probably learned from each other and how both of you I find to be so interesting, yet you do it somewhat differently and somewhat the same. And that's kind of what makes it fun for people who follow along with food bloggers and, food people on the internet. And I think kind of staying the course, like you said, like every shiny object is great, but you have that fun in your Instagram and she does like her Sunday chats and you do
Yeah.
your fun
Yeah.
reels. But if I'm like, hey, I need a dinner recipe, I know I can go to either of your websites and be like, okay, here it is right there, like right in front of it. You know what I mean? And so it's kind of nice to get to see all of those things. Before we start talking about summer fun, just one more thing that I'm going to lose it. No, I'm not. I got it back. The question that I have for you that I find to be really interesting is you said that you create content and kind of have yourself set up so that you do a year's worth of work in, let's call it 10 months, so that you can be with your kids in the summer. So explain that to us, and then we'll move into how we keep our kids busy in the summer. I just think that's such a smart thing, as a self-employed person that you can do. Like, hey, let's jam it all in, then you can have a summer break. That's brilliant.
Yeah. So it was the summer of 2021 that I remember very distinctly. I was in the kitchen and so the kids would have been, what is that? 5 and 3.
Okay.
5 and 3. And so it was the summer before my older one was starting kindergarten. And so we had a wonderful nanny, and shout out to Shannon. She actually just watched the boys this weekend. She's
Oh,
wonderful.
there you go.
We still love her.
We
Um,
had a COVID nanny who we're still like, love her forever. We found a
mhm.
good one. Then we had to let her
Yeah.
go because kids had to go back to school.
Exactly, exactly. So I remember I was like doing a photo shoot and I was like, bye, boys, have fun at the creek.
And you're like,
I was like,
oh,
why am I doing this? Like I am the boss.
right.
Why?
I make my own rules.
And it's not that I didn't feel like she deserved to be paid to do that work. Like I'm
Right.
so glad we
You
had her.
wanted to do it.
Yes, but I was like, wait, why am I doing this when I could be doing that?
Yeah.
And so summer, so that was my last working summer.
Okay.
Um, that's not true. Summer 2022,
Okay.
I had kind of been like thinking about taking off the summer. So
Okay.
I sort of just like built in a little bit more downtime.
Okay.
And then it was the summer of 2023 that I decided I was going to take off completely. Um, and I had to, again, this is where I worked backwards. I was like, okay, let me show you. Oops. I'm going to show you my calendar because I'm
Yes.
a paper and pen kind of gal.
Okay. Me
And
too. I'm like, let's take it back to the 90s.
yeah,
Give it
so
to me. Let me make a grocery list on a piece of paper. Thank you.
exactly.
Yes.
I basically like have these little flags are
Oh,
the
okay.
dates that I'm publishing
Okay.
content.
Okay.
Okay. So what I will do is I will make a whole list of I'll make a spreadsheet of
Okay.
all of the days that I publish. Typically publish on Wednesdays. Sometimes it's a Monday. There are times during the winter when I do 12 days of cookies that it's every day.
A little more. Okay.
12 days, but like for the most part, I just like know these things are coming. I'm very structured with what I
Yeah.
do. So I make a spreadsheet and I put all of the days that I'm publishing, and then I kind of fill in what I'm doing. And I know every month I do a themed recipe. This year it is um
I was just swatting at a bug.
breads.
I
Oh yeah.
probably I
No, it's
probably
fine.
distracted you.
No,
There's a bug flying around my head.
I couldn't remember. This year it's breads. This year it's breads.
Okay.
Last I think it was last year I did cinnamon rolls. The year before that, it was cheesecakes. So I kind of like fill in. I know that every month I'm doing a cheesecake recipe. So I
Okay.
kind of like plug those in where they make sense.
Oh,
Hold
interesting.
on. My kids also gave me a summer cold that I'm like getting over.
Love that.
Lovely.
Thanks, kids.
Yeah, thank you. So I will plug those things in, and then I do some sponsored work, so I'll plug those ones in where I know that they go.
Okay.
And then I do a monthly baking bake along. So like
hmm
I'll those recipes and I'll plug those in. So then I
I
kind of just
think
like
is that where I got your strawberry cookies from? I feel like it is, maybe. Because I was reading your bake along and then maybe I found the strawberry cookie
oh,
recipe at the same
okay.
time because I made them and
Gotcha.
they were delicious. Yeah.
Yeah, okay, thank you. So I just kind of fill it in that way. And so
Okay.
then what I do is I go through my calendar and I put little flags for all of those days that those are getting published.
Okay.
And so then each of those get a little flag that corresponds to, I need to make this, right?
Okay.
So I put them all together on my calendar. And then what I do is I take the little flags, the make flags, and I basically just spread them out over 9 months so that in the summertime, from June, the first week of June until the week after Labor Day,
You
there
have.
are no make flags. There's just publish flags.
Okay.
Well, that's kind of what I was talking about. Like I know the end goal, so I just need to work
Right.
backwards.
So you could make a recipe, let's say in January, that you're not going to publish until July, but you have it. So you're
Right.
just kind of working ahead. That's
In,
brilliant.
in fact, I already have some Christmas cookies done for this
Oh,
year.
might as well, right?
So
And I guess once you kind of figured out your flow, then that just all made sense. Like nobody's going to know, except now we're revealing all of your secrets. But,
no, but
nobody's going to know. Put a little
no,
Santa hat on and call it a day.
exactly. I have my
Yeah.
little Christmas lights. Like
Yeah.
everything is just there for me. I can access my Halloween stuff, my Christmas stuff, my patriotic things. Like it's all there. I can do whatever I want.
Yeah.
The only time I have restrictions are it's hard to get cranberries anytime but the fall.
Oh, okay.
And it's hard to get candy canes anytime
Okay.
around. So those are things that I build in. Like I know that I can't make some of my Thanksgiving recipes that use cranberries until
Okay.
October or November.
But you
But
can make your mashed potatoes in July, in April.
in fact, I made pumpkin pie last May.
There you go. It's
I
ready
can
to go.
make
And
some
I feel
pumpkin.
like a person in your position would have to work ahead anyway because you're putting Christmas stuff out in November, so so it doesn't really matter.
Exactly.
And then you're
So
okay.
that's just how I work backwards. And the
Yeah.
first summer that I tried it, it was kind of like, oh my gosh, will this work? And then, so what it means for in application is that during those 9 months of the year, maybe I am working a little bit more than I would like to. Like,
Yeah.
I don't want to be making 6 recipes that one week, but I know that that means that
That you're
I get
not working today.
not working.
Yeah. Yeah.
Exactly. So sometimes I have to like when Laura comes, like especially on those weeks where I have Laura, sometimes
Yeah.
she will walk in and I will be like, and she's like, one
We're
ingredient
gonna
at a
crank it
time.
out.
You go.
Crank it out.
Yeah,
And one more food question. I could talk about this forever. I think it's so interesting.
let's do it.
Do you eat the food? Like, are you like, here's dinner, kids, or what do you do with that? Like, if you're like,
So
I made a candy cane cookies and mashed potatoes and blueberry
yeah.
muffins, like, what are we doing with that?
So I don't do a whole lot of savory stuff or dinners. Like I'm
Okay.
not mostly
Cookie.
desserts.
Okay.
So which I think makes things a little bit more difficult
Yeah.
for,
I mean, we could all sit around and eat them all day. Yeah.
but funny enough, my husband is gluten and dairy free.
Oh,
And
crazy. Okay.
so
And
I
a personal trainer. So there's that. You know.
everything's about balance. Everything's about
Yes,
balance.
yes, yes.
But one, yes, I do eat everything that I make. And also, I just have like a standing group text for my neighbors, like,
Oh,
hey,
who
who
wants it?
wants
That's
these?
awesome.
I also utilize all the time my Buy Nothing group. Do you have a local Buy Nothing group?
Yes, yes, yes.
You might even be in the same
We
one.
might be. Yeah. I have, although I have not seen any baked goods up for
Okay.
sale. So maybe
You
we're in like the neighboring one. Yeah.
probably,
So
but I
that's
use
it.
that a
Just give it
lot.
away.
Yeah. And sometimes I will because I do work so far ahead, sometimes I will know that we're
Mm,
doing X, Y, and Z on this weekend. So maybe
okay.
I'll have a batch of cookies ready to go for that.
Yeah.
So it does get eaten. It
I
gets
bet your
consistent.
neighbors love you. They're
My
like
neighbors
fighting
love
for, yes, fighting for Lynn's
and
goodies.
also, because I'm a PTO president, I am at the school a lot. So there's a lot of like taking it to the lunchroom or
Yes.
the faculty room, taking it to the
Yes.
office staff. Like if I'm in my car going to the school or going somewhere, I
There's
probably have
something on the front
something.
seat.
Yeah.
They'd probably love to see you coming. I do that because I like to bake too, and I will make things. I'm like, but we don't need to sit around and eat them, so I'll keep, one or two for everybody in my family, and then I often take them to the school. Or I have a friend whose house I drive by on the way to work, and I'll be like, I just dropped some goodies in your mailbox. She's like, thank you so much. I'm like, but to me, and you probably feel the same way, it's fun. Like I'm like, that's such a fun like Wednesday morning treat. I just left a pistachio cupcake in your mailbox or whatever it is. And I'm like, and then
Exactly.
I'm not eating it because I would love to, but
Yeah.
like yeah,
We
so
don't
it's like
need
a
to.
little
And it's
everybody
more,
loves
and
some sugar.
that is the whole like ethos of why I share my recipes is because it's fun for me to bake, but I love when someone loves one of my recipes.
Yeah.
Oh, and this is a true story. We had a like the end of year fair at the school,
Oh yes.
and we do a cakewalk. Do you know what a cakewalk
Yeah.
is? Okay, well, for anyone who doesn't know what a cakewalk is, it's kind of like musical chairs, but when it lands on you, you get to pick like a dessert from the table.
Yes.
And we had like 40 desserts, and like a lot of them are store-bought, no shade, like
Yep.
whatever. That's the whole
Kids
point.
don't care.
The kids don't care.
Kids don't
Exactly.
care.
But I, of course, because I am who I am, I need to make my famous chocolate chip cookies and
Right.
bring them to the cakewalk.
Right.
And I'm walking into the cakewalk to drop off my treat, and one of the moms looks at me and she yells to her daughter, "Get these cookies!" And I was
Like,
like, that
thank
is
you.
like, that's what makes, I love that people, that my recipes
Yes.
have taught people how to be not good at baking, but actually no, can make like really good chocolate chip cookies or a chocolate cake or a pie or something. Like, because there's so much joy in being able to create something from scratch and saying
Hmm.
like, I did
Did
this.
that. And especially since you kind of are self-taught as well, to then
Yeah,
be able to share that with other people and be like,
exactly.
hey, it's not scary. It's not scary to learn
No.
how to bake.
My whole shtick is like I didn't grow up baking and I'm really good at like I teach people.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I'm good at it.
Yeah. Figured it out.
You can be too. And it doesn't have to be fancy. Like if you have a go-to chocolate chip cookie recipe, a chocolate cake, a yeast bread, a pie crust,
Hmm.
a something like with sprinkles in it, like
You're good.
you're
You're
good.
good to
You're
go.
good.
And you can
And
like
you
riff on different
yeah.
things and yeah, change
You
the
don't
color of the icing, whatever.
like you don't need to have this huge arsenal of baking. Like even me, the person who has literally 650 plus recipes on my website,
Right.
I will probably bring my chocolate chip cookies to
Right.
whatever you
They're like
do.
your go-to, right? They're easy. I do a blondie that I just got
Yeah.
like chocolate chip blondies and I found them on Pinterest and I take them almost everywhere and people are like, "Oh," and I'm like, "They're so easy." Like they're so
Yeah.
easy and they come out well all the time because when you
Mhm.
make something and you're like, "Oh, they were in the oven 1 minute too long," and and you're like, "These I know it's like 18 minutes in the oven, like whatever," and they're easy and it's done. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Hmm.
Love
Hmm.
that. Okay, and thank you. That was an interesting way to think about how you do your content creation and get the summers off. So let's talk about that,
Yeah.
because you and I both get the summer at home with our children, and that we'll see. I talked on an episode that's coming out tomorrow. Well, moving backwards. It will have already come out, but it's an episode that I did with my husband, and I talked about how, I could be home and be happy all summer long, and my kids don't always feel that way. And so having the whole summer sounds great. And then having the whole summer, you're like, ooh, these kids are going to want to be entertained. And so let's talk about how we do that. What would you say you enjoy the most about not working in the summer?
I like the slowness. Um, I like the mornings of like we're all just hanging out
Mhm.
and like we can
Easing in.
we can be buried in a screen right now or doing whatever we want in our own corner of the living room. Like I don't care right
Yeah.
now. You
Yeah.
just do your thing. Um,
It's summer.
Look, it's summer. And I've also gotten very good at kind of having like a loose plan. Okay, so like when they go to camp, like we actually have to be out the door
Yes.
before we normally are for the
Yeah.
bus.
You're like,
And so
sorry.
yeah.
And pack a
Um,
lunch too. I'm like, oh, we're back to packing
exactly.
lunches.
So
Okay.
like that, and that's 4 weeks of the summer. Like we can
Hmm.
handle that. We can do that. But the weeks, I think this summer we have it was these 2 weeks and then 5 more weeks. So maybe like 6 or so weeks that we kind of just like have, whatever. I will make sure that everybody knows the plan. Like, okay, guys, we could for the next 2 hours, where you can do whatever you want.
Yeah.
You can play, you can screen, you can eat, you can nap. I don't care what you do.
Yeah.
But at this time we're doing this, and at this time we're doing this, and then later tonight we can, we're gonna spend the rest of the night outside, and then whatever.
Yeah.
And so I find that giving them kind of like a loose idea of what to expect for the day
Hmm.
with also saying, also, if you guys want to go to the pool, let me know. If you want to go
Right.
to the playground, we also have time to do that. You let me know what you want to do because the first summer that I decided we had no nanny, we had no camp, and we had no plan. And so
Hmm.
they were 2023, they were 5 and 7.
Okay.
that was the worst summer of my life.
And you're like, I worked so hard to do this. And now what?
I call it my cruise director
Yes.
because I was so structured with our days. I was like, this day we're going to the library, and this day we're doing this, and this day we're doing this we're going
Right.
to the zoo with these friends. And so that summer told me that too much structure for our summers is actually going to kill us.
Hmm.
And we all hated each other by the end of the summer.
Isn't that interesting? Uh-huh.
So 2024 was the first summer that we introduced day camp, and it took up enough of the summer that it was structure for them,
Yeah.
but it didn't take up the entire summer. And if your kids need to be in camp all summer, that's
Go
fine.
for it.
That is no judgment. But like
Yeah.
this works for our family. This works for what my kids like to do. And so there were days that where that second summer that I had more of a handle on things. Like,
Hmm.
okay, this day it's actually going to rain. So I don't know, go in the basement, play video games, watch a movie. I don't care what you're doing.
Right.
Tomorrow it's going to be nice. So, like, let's think about X, Y, and Z.
Right. And getting out of the
You guys
house
get
and
to
doing
decide.
something.
You
Yeah.
guys get
Yeah. And it's funny
to.
you said the slowness and I wrote on my paper relaxed mornings and to
Yeah.
me because yes, we're up, we're out, I leave, my husband leaves, my kids or my parents sometimes come and put them on the bus and whatever, but my husband and I are usually out the door by 8 o'clock. And yes, camp starts at 8:30. So I'm like, sorry, get in the car at 8:15. But it just because I don't have to really get myself quote unquote ready, it
Mhm.
relaxes the whole thing. We all slept in
Absolutely.
45 minutes later today. Or, we were at the grocery store yesterday and I was like, I feel like I'm forgetting something. And my husband was like, then you can just come back tomorrow. And he like smirked and I was like,
Yeah.
oh my gosh, I can. Like, because I have to, it's not this like I leave at 8, I come back at 4:30 and then we do this, this, this. I was like, I could come to the grocery store every day this week if I wanted to. So just that
Yeah.
freedom of, and if we don't have anything planned, like I always say, I'm like, I don't care if you watch TV right now. It's summer. Like as long as you're not fighting with each other on the couch, like take
Mhm.
advantage because you can't
Yeah.
always watch like unlimited,
Yeah,
whatever.
exactly. And I don't know if it's like this for your family, but I feel like the other nice thing about having the summer off and also kind of like having a little bit of structure, but also having a lot of freedom is that by the time school rolls back around, we are ready to get back into it. I
Yes.
am like dying to get back in
Yes.
the kitchen. The
Yes.
kids are like, you can just tell it's always the last week of
Oh,
summer
I call
before
it the
school
dog
starts,
days. Yeah, there it
where
is.
they are feral. And you're like, Tuesday, if I can get to Saturday,
There.
we're there. We can do
And you're
it.
pulling out all the stops, but you've
We're like,
also
we're,
like
we're gonna go have ice cream for lunch today.
uh-huh. But you've also like spent all the money and been all the places and like done all of the things and you're literally like biding your time. And I'm like,
Mhm.
my mom used to say in August, every mother looked harassed. And I'm like, Mom, that's so rude. And like you go to Target on like August 10th, and I'm like, oh yeah, we're all harassed. Because you're just like all this free flowing fun is great. And then you're like, and that's enough. And you're ready to get back into the routine. But it's kind of nice to have that break because I feel like we don't get that break in life
Oh,
anymore. So
we
it's,
don't.
yeah. And my kids stay up later and they'll be like, can we do this or go and play outside? Sure. Like, go ahead. So,
We had last night, we had one of those nights. It just so happened to be Father's Day,
yeah.
and the grieving child in me really needed like this super fun Father's Day that we had yesterday.
Yeah.
But the longest day of the year, we did a fire pit in our yard. The
Fun.
boys were outside until nearly 9:30.
You're
And I
like,
was like,
yes.
this uh, 5 years ago me, if you told 5 years ago me
No,
that
my kids would have been asleep at 7:30. Yeah.
exactly. But
Yeah.
like that I looked at my husband and I was like, these are the things that they'll remember about like mom and dad let us continue to do races in the yard until
Yes.
9:15 at night. Like
Yes.
what and I you can't do that all the time.
You
You
can't. No.
literally can't. And but the summer is when you can and
Mhm.
when you also have to remind yourself like if they go to bed at 9:30 or 10 for a week, they are going to be okay. But it's not
Right.
like that when they're little and
No.
you need to be so structured and you have to be
Yes.
like we have a bedtime and like if we're not in bed,
And it
we
will be blazing sunshine when you go to sleep, my love. It will be like 3 o'clock in the afternoon. That sun will be so bright and you will go to sleep. Uh-huh.
exactly. So
Uh-huh.
it's just it's that's the thing that I love the most about being able to just kind of let loose is that it reminds me that we do get back on the schedule and we do have structure
Mhm.
eventually. But that first summer, it was like I had to test the waters. I had to see
You
how
had to
much.
figure out what worked. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
once 2024 came around, it was like great. So that 2024 was great. Last year was great. I'm expecting this year to be pretty similar because we know what to expect,
Yeah.
which is really helpful.
It is. And it's cliche to say because everybody's like, "Oh, 90s mom," which I'm like, I feel like it's more like 80s mom, but that whole like go play, solve your own problems, eat a popsicle,
Yeah.
run in the yard, catch lightning bugs. Like it's so like ooey gooey of like that's the summer I want my kids to have, but like it is. That's the summer that we had and like fireworks and parades and whatever it is. And even just like my kid, we were at the shore this weekend and at 8:30 we went for a walk and my kids were like, it's dark outside. We're like, right?
Right,
And then,
well,
they booed and hooed the whole, it's so long, it's so far. We're like, we've walked like 3 blocks, but I really liked it. I was like, Allie, Catherine, when is the last time you went for a walk in the dark? And they were like, oh. And I'm like, that's summer. Like, that's the fun of it, And they came back and went to sleep and whatever. But I agree with you, just the slow part of the summer.
mhm.
Um, and okay, so keeping your kids busy, you talked about a couple of camps, and we do a couple of camps, and then we also do, I have these like bright-eyed thoughts of like everybody's going to be so happy to come up with all these like, oh, mommy came up with some fun ideas. This is boring. This is dumb. This is stupid. But I'm like, I could entertain you for weeks. Like I have lists of places to go and lists of things to do. Tell me about some of your day trips and adventures, especially like, since we are local to each other, maybe
Yeah.
we'll give each other some tips. What do you do on a day off or, on a random, like what do you like to do with your kids?
Yeah, so well, I mentioned we have the pool membership this
Hmm.
year, so that'll change a lot of like what our go-tos, but
Yeah.
we really like to go. The kids just like to be outside, but it's not like they're not like sports kids.
Okay.
So they're not they want when they go outside, they want to be dirty. They want to
Okay.
be muddy. If there's water there, this is even
Even
better.
better.
So we've done a lot of like afternoons at the creek we go
Oh,
to.
fun.
Shaw's Bridge Creek, Shaw's
I've
Creek
heard of
Bridge,
it. Where is that?
like 15 minutes away
Okay.
towards Pocopson. It's actually kind
Okay.
of near Bailey's Dairy. Do you know where Bailey's
Oh,
Dairy is?
yes. Yes, yes, yes.
It's over there. So it's like
Okay.
a 1 mile hike. It's like
Okay.
flat. And we take snacks, we take a water bottle, we take
Because God forbid you walk a mile without some kind of,
what is the
everyone will be starving, everyone will be dehydrated.
I bring a chair, like I bring like a lawn chair,
Perfect.
and usually a book or something that I can do. And we go to this shallow part of the creek where the
That's
boys are
cool.
not going to drown. They're
Right.
also not going to be taken away by the current.
Yep.
There are rocks, there are fish, there are tadpoles, like and it's kind of in the shade. So
Yeah.
like they will do that for 2 hours and then we
That's cool.
hike back and then they're exhausted after that
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
we can come home and like be lazy or play outside. So the creek, I think that we will probably still will go to the creek a lot this summer, but
Okay.
the pool will definitely be that other thing. Like
Yeah.
we're just gonna go to the pool for a couple hours, do
Right.
whatever you
Yeah.
want.
Tire yourselves out.
We like that. I also am a big fan, and I think it's because of the age of my kids
Yeah.
they still really like having responsibility and like helping with things.
Hmm.
So, hey, I need to go to the grocery store today. You're gonna come with me and you're gonna help me shop. And then afterwards, let's stop at the playground or let's stop somewhere or like let's do something that you guys want to do, or we can get a bag of your favorite candy or something.
Right.
We're at the grocery store. So that is another nice thing about being in this like sweet spot of parenting where they can help. You can be in the
Right. They
grocery
like
store.
get that you have to do these
Go,
things.
yeah, and
Yeah.
like go get that thing or go, can you go pick out a blah 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 or whatever. And like I know that's part like we've talked already about like the whole point is to make them independent, like take them to do
Yes.
regular stuff. They also help fold laundry and like to do the dishwasher and like all the
Learn how to be a human. It's like learn how to be a
crappy
human
stuff.
camp. Uh-huh.
Yeah. So,
Uh-huh.
and
Uh-huh.
it's not, and I talk to my therapist all the time. Is this a bribe? And she's like, no, it's not a bribe.
No,
It's a
it sweetens the
you
deal.
sweetens the deal.
Yeah.
We get to do because we get to do it too. Like once I'm
Right.
done with the dishwasher, I can go. you know, read my book or
Right.
do whatever.
But you have to get it done.
Also, my husband is so good at this. Every morning we do a family walk. It doesn't
Oh, I
matter.
love that.
Like if you are tired, if you haven't eaten your breakfast yet, like if you would rather be doing something else, like
Doesn't
this
matter.
is what we are doing. It's 20 minutes out of your day. We get some sunshine, we've got
Love
some
that.
movement. That happens basically every day.
Like as soon as you wake up.
As soon as he wakes up.
Oh, fair
Yeah.
enough. Okay.
In the summer and on the weekends. Like we don't do this on the school day,
Yeah,
obviously. But yeah.
that's a great
But yeah.
idea.
So and because our kids are early risers. Oh,
Yeah.
that's another thing. They're usually up like 6:30 or so.
Mine are like
And
6:45, 7:15.
but when your kids can get up and not need you, game changer.
Game changer.
So I'm usually at like the 7 o'clock, and on a day that we don't have to do anything, my husband likes to go closer to 8 o'clock, which is great for him.
Yeah.
Fine, totally fine. So when he comes downstairs, I've usually had some coffee. The boys have been able to like wake up, and it's like
Yeah.
going outside.
So now you're ready. Now you're ready for your walk.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's
Yeah. So
funny.
those
Go ahead.
no, those are like our big go-tos.
Your go-tos.
We always try to go to, do you guys go to the Goshen Fair? Or I'm not sorry, not the Goshen Fair, the Malvern Fair. Do you go to
We've
the Malvern
never
Fair?
been. I feel like it's gotten a little like, I don't know. I've heard some things.
Oh, we can talk
Should we
later.
go? Okay. It's like 5 minutes from our house, so we should.
Yeah.
We've actually been to the Goshen Fair though, and that one had like 4-H club. When Ollie was like a baby, we took him and they had like the 4-H club and the rides and the things and the funnel cake and the we did that. Maybe we need to try the other one this year.
We can talk
We'll talk. We'll talk
off
about that.
record. Yeah.
Okay.
But
But all those little like fairs and my kids
yeah.
love a festival. Oh, good
Yeah.
Lord, they love a festival. Like if you can spin a wheel and get like
Yep.
a pen, I
A
mean,
lemonade that's as
oh, if I get one more cozy to hold like a soda can, I'm like, can we stop? But wait, that's a very like community feel and it'll, spend an afternoon at a festival. Oh, there's nothing they love more.
and also we live pretty close to Westchester, like
Yeah.
downtown Westchester.
Yeah.
And we did this yesterday, but we will do it on other days where we're kind of just like, what do we do
Meh.
today? Let's go walk downtown.
Yes.
It there's usually like yesterday there was live music. There's usually something going on.
There is always something going on in Westchester.
And if all else fails, they love the freaking fountain
Oh,
at
yes.
right there outside of Sedona Tap
Right in the
House.
middle.
Like,
Jump in the fountain, throw
let's
some.
go play in the fountain for a little bit.
And then
Like,
at the end, you can be like, hey, let's grab a whatever. Didn't that store the biscuit lady just opened? Or, like we'll share a biscuit or whatever it is, again, to sweeten the deal. And I talk about this all the time. I'm going to sound like such a dork, but I don't even care. Libraries. Like Phoenixville has a library. Westchester has a beautiful library. We'll go, especially if it's hot and you're like, we want to do something, but I don't want to be outside. I'll pick like a town. They'll be like, let's go to their library. And then we'll kind of
yeah.
poke around their towns. And my kids love the get of like, can we bring home 789 books? And I'm like, why don't we pick like 10? But, and then they'll come home and I'm like, all right, so like go lay on the couch. I'll get you a cool drink. You can read your book for a little while. Cause that's what I remember doing. Like, and
Mhm.
like I said, like I'm taking it back. I said to my kids, we're gonna watch some, like I have a list of like Honey, I Shrunk the Kids and Beethoven, Remember the Big Dog, and Willy Wonka, and like movies like that this summer. And I said, they both have memory boxes that I kind of just like throw stuff in. And I'm like, I'll deal with it later. Well, I think this is the summer we're going to deal with it. Like, I think each kid will get a day and we'll kind of go through it and go through like, oh, this was your first baby card. And you know what I mean? And kind of like, what are we keeping? What are we getting rid of? But my son asks all the time, can we go through the memory box? I'm like, honey, that's like a 4-hour event. But I'm like, we can do that this summer. We've been saving like cardboard and masking tape. And my daughter was like, can we just have a building day? I tend to be one who goes out of the house a lot, but I was like, I think this summer we're gonna have some days. I said we can go through like my old yearbooks. They'll probably be like, "Oh Lord, please," and like
Yeah.
photo albums from because they're old enough now that like they'll think it's funny. Like here are my photo albums from high school, and here's Daddy when he was in college. Like I want to do those kinds of things with them, along with the like, oh, what's a good one is the dollar movies at Regal or Movie Tavern. I think it's like a countrywide thing. Most
Yes.
places have that $1 or $3 movie, and they kind of just play movies from a couple years ago. But my kids think that's like the best. And you buy popcorn, and and again, because like I have all these big ambitions, and then it's 98 degrees with 100% humidity, and I'm like, I don't want to do anything. Like I don't always want to be like watch a movie, but you know what? It's something to do. It's something fun, and
Mhm.
we'll do that. We'll do around here too. There's like a pinball place and there's an arcade, I think, in either Media or Phoenixville. We'll go bowling. My son loves baseball. You were saying your kids are not sporty. My
Mhm.
son is just waiting for the Phillies to call him up. So like telling him that we, I mean, I'm telling you, any minute now they're gonna be right on my phone asking for him to come and play for
Yeah.
them. But like telling him that we'll go to a baseball card store. There's one in Malvern, and that I'm like, he will do anything if he can go to the baseball card store. And I just want to like bring it down for them when they're not, because I'm like this constant entertainment, like you need to be able to, and I'm not like a go out and do like a go out and spend money kind of entertainment, but we often leave the house because I'm like, when we're not in the house, people argue much less. But I'm like,
Mhm.
this summer, like you kind of have to just be able to like be and let summer happen. And I was thinking like when they're at camp, shh, don't tell them. I'm gonna go through our like toy room and clean it all out. But then I'll find like we have shelves and shelves of books that nobody reads, but I'll just like casually like take a whole shelf of books out and like spread them across the floor and say nothing. And then they'll come home from camp and I'm like, oh, did you guys find some books to read? Or like, dig out a game from back in the closet. I'm like, oh, look, we're playing with this game. Because I think, they look at what they have in front of them. And they're like, this is boring. This is so
Yeah.
that's kind of where I sort of want to be with them this summer. And, on a nice day, I was like, maybe we can go to like 3 or 4 playgrounds and then go out for ice cream. Or there's, like I was telling you before, we love Lancaster. And there's this road that goes back, like it's 322. It goes past, like, I don't know if you've ever been to Shady Maple.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like that. And if you take 322, it eventually goes to Hershey. But there are all these
Yep.
like little cute stores and places. And I've always said to my husband, like, someday we should just come out here and just stop at like whatever. There's like,
Mhm.
shops and farms and produce stands. I'm like, we should just make like a 322 day and just like kind of
Mhm.
go where the road takes us and
Yeah.
that kind of
Yeah.
stuff. So that's kind of, and are you going on a vacation?
We, funny you ask, we weren't going to. We discovered going away over holidays
Mm,
and have, we have turned into we like to go away for Christmas. Like we
yes.
leave on Christmas and we are away through the new year.
Nice. We usually go away the day or two after Christmas.
Okay. And it's been really wonderful. This year we're also going away for Thanksgiving.
Oh,
Um,
nice.
Friends of ours. Who don't have kids, but we've vacationed with them before. It's just
Okay.
like it's a lovely combination of personalities. But we we are not looking to move. We are not looking to buy a house, but a
Yeah.
house is up for sale, literally 8 doors down from us
Oh,
last weekend
oh,
or this weekend, because they go so fast. And we put in an offer and we were not expecting to get it. And like it did not work out for us.
yeah.
There were so many bids and I'm sure
Okay.
went for like a disgusting amount above ask.
Yes. Like this would be an
Um,
irresponsible decision. Yeah.
yeah, right. So like we went in, we were like, if it works out for us, great. If not, like great, we don't have to do
Okay.
it.
Yeah.
Um, but we told the kids if we get this house, because they were like, we don't want to move. I can't
Yeah.
reach the microwave. And I'm like, okay, whatever.
It's 8 doors down. You can come visit
Yeah,
my house. It's
right.
fine.
Exactly. We said if we get the house, because we are currently rent and we're not
Okay.
allowed to have pets. And so we've
Okay.
kind of put that like we're not even, we don't have fish. Like we're not
Mhm.
like, nothing. Just
Oh,
kind of
wow.
to,
Can
absolve
you see
ourselves.
my fish in the background here in my
Yeah,
husband's office? We
exactly.
have one. Yeah, that's our pet,
There
one
you go.
fish. There it is.
So we told them if we got this house, we would start small with a fish.
Oh,
But if we didn't get the house, since we weren't going to be writing a six-figure check,
right.
we can go to the Outer Banks.
Oh,
So
that'll be fun.
we've gone to the Outer Banks lots of summers. Sometimes we skip a year. Like it just kind of depends.
Yeah.
This year we were not going to go, but
Okay.
then we also came into possibly writing a six-figure check,
So
and
then the
then
Outer
we
Banks sounded like a walk in the park.
yeah. So
Sure.
now it sounds like we have. So I don't know. My in-laws live in Lewis Beach,
Okay.
and so the kids will go there for like 5 days in the
Oh,
summer, which
fun.
is So fun for them,
Yeah.
so fun for my in-laws, and
Yes.
so fun for us.
Yes. Yes. Because then you get a little,
Yeah,
vacation too. And now is this going to start the itch for you of looking for a house or not necessarily?
probably not.
Not.
No,
Okay.
it was just kind of like, oh, and it's an end unit. Like we live in
All the
townhouses.
things.
So,
Yeah.
yeah, but like we love where we live. We're
Right.
not.
So you're kind of like, okay.
Yeah,
Okay. Yeah, we're
fine.
fine. We're
Now we don't have to pack.
Yeah, right. That's the bonus. All right. I feel like you and I are just that, like we could just keep going and
We
let people
could.
listen to
We
us.
might.
We might. Let me give you two more big questions, then I'll give you your kind of fun questions.
Okay.
So you are still back to away from all of our wonderful activities that we do with our children, back to your business. While you are home for the summer with your kids, you are still posting, correct?
Yes.
Or is that all scheduled? Like you don't even have to think about it, or you are still active on social media with the things that you filmed before?
Correct. Yeah, I'm still actively in it because I find that if I'm not, and again, everybody does this differently, but I
Yeah.
find that if I'm not, I lose touch with what is relevant.
Hmm.
At least on Instagram.
Yeah.
I'm not on TikTok. Like I sometimes I'm so bad at remembering to do YouTube shorts, but Instagram is like where I enjoy spending time.
Okay.
So I know it really well.
You know the algorithm,
No,
all the
well,
secrets.
it's always changing. Um, but I like to keep up with that. So
Okay.
that is, I need to keep it creative. I need to keep my mind creative. I
Right.
also every summer, I didn't even mention this because I didn't do it yet this year. I normally do it the first week after school is over, but
Okay.
timing just didn't work out right this year. I moved it to July because I'm going to Phoenix in July for a workshop with
Oh,
Joni Simon is who I learned my artificial photography with, and she has a
okay.
photography studio at her home in Phoenix.
Oh,
And
cool.
so she's doing a photography retreat,
Okay.
a photography workshop for 2 days. So
Okay.
I normally go to Florida for a whole week by myself
Okay.
and do nothing.
Nice.
I work a little bit, but it's like reading my book, swimming, binging
Speaking
TV.
in French. No.
And that kind of that's like, I started doing that a few summers ago, at the suggestion of my husband, because it's
Okay.
just like a reset because my husband is a wonderful co-parent and support. In fact, the kids are at their well visits right now because he handles those.
Hmm.
He also does the dentist. I do the eye doctor. Like
Isn't
everyone's
that
got
funny?
their,
My husband is the same way. Yeah, his work schedule is more flexible than mine during the year, so he'll be like,
yeah,
"Get the early appointment, I'll take them." And you're like, "Great." And like,
exactly.
yes,
Yeah,
there's no conversation. Like I'm like, I know he knows what to ask and we'll talk about it
exactly.
later. And yes.
Yes.
Good for
So,
us. We married the right
yes,
men, didn't
right?
we? Yes.
But even with that, there is just still so much that falls on mom.
Yes.
And so taking that week to myself is just, it's
It's
necessary.
amazing. And then you're
And
probably really happy to come home because you miss them.
I
So you
am.
feel like you had
Yeah.
your time.
By the end of the week, I'm like, you know what? Like, it's been really nice, but I actually probably couldn't stay here another week by
Hmm.
myself. Like,
Hmm.
you just
Sad. Kind
you miss
of
your
lonely.
own bed. Like,
Yes.
So, what was your question?
Oh, I said, how do you like manage your work responsibilities while
Oh, yeah. So
so
I've,
you're posting, you're keeping it
yeah.
fresh, you're doing workshops.
Right, exactly. So right now, I also make sure that during the summer is a lot of like the republished and not
Mm-hmm.
so many of the new recipes,
Okay.
so that making that post again a lot of the bones are there. Like it's just kind of like updating
Freshening
it.
it up.
Yeah. So it's a little less like, I still like to be creative, but I go from working like 30 hours a week to maybe like 5,
Oh,
sometimes
wow. Okay.
8. Like
And like
it's
sometimes it's poolside,
exact
right? So
that
that
actually,
doesn't feel like work.
listen, my my mantra for what I can do in the summer is if I can't do it at the pool or the beach, I'm not doing it.
Not doing it. Yeah.
So if I don't like to bring my computer to those kinds of things, like,
Hmm.
but if I
But it's like
needed
a
to, like,
mindset of like, if I
yeah,
can't do it there, I'm not
I'm
doing it.
not doing it. Yeah. So
And
I can't
last
do
question, are you
it.
cooking and baking all summer just for the fun of it? Or you're like, let's go to Chick-fil-A.
I
Let's get
do a little bit, a
okay.
little bit.
Okay.
The boys found a bag of cinnamon chips, like the
Oh,
Hershey's cinnamon
yes.
chips
Yes, yes,
that
yes.
are really hard to find.
Okay.
they found them and we're like, can we use these? And I was like, sure, we can make cookies. It's supposed to rain this week. I was like, we'll make
Yes.
cookies together.
There you go.
Yeah.
So you
But
do it
no,
still. That's when you kind of do it for fun.
but honestly, like baking for fun, I don't really do a whole lot of that because
Yeah.
it's my job.
Not anymore, right? That's what my husband, I'm like, I love to bake. My husband's like, and you keep baking for fun. Because as we all know, it's not cute and fun when you're doing it
No,
for your
no.
living, for a living. And your boys like to cook with you or bake with you, or
They,
not so much.
yeah, and like we're learning, our older one knows how to make his own eggs. He knows how to make fried
Great.
eggs and scrambled eggs and an omelet. So like yes, we work those, we build those things into these are also lessons. Like
Yeah.
I'm going to teach you how to do this so that you can do this on
You
your
can do it
own.
yourself. Yep. Do it
Mhm.
for your wife someday, right?
Yeah.
All right, let's do some quick rapid fire questions for you here.
Okay.
Let me see. I came up with some fun ones. Okay. Um, favorite comfort food?
Anything with cheese,
Oh, yes, cheese. Okay, good.
even
Like
if it's just cheese.
just a little cut out of the fridge, right? Let me just cut this off and have a piece. Agree. Cheese and apple. I love a cheese and apple,
Oh, good.
right? It's the
Yeah,
sweet and the salty. Okay.
so good.
Last show you binge watched.
I'm not really binging it. I'm not a binger.
Right? I don't really have time to binge. Like, when do
Unless
you have
I'm
eight
on,
hours to just sit and watch TV? Come
yes, unless I'm on my retreat, then I will
on.
binge.
Okay.
So last year I binged The Pit season one.
Oh, okay. My husband and I are slowly watching that, like in the
Okay,
20 minutes on a Saturday morning before our
there
kids
you
wake
go.
up, or for like
Yeah,
15 minutes before we fall asleep at night. Yeah, good.
yeah.
I'm like, Noah Wiley, look at you growing up nicely.
Blow up.
Uh-huh. Favorite season?
Fall.
Best career advice you ever received? Leave your job. No, quit your job. Give that to
Are
yourself.
we talking like self-employed, like entrepreneurial?
Whatever. Like if you kind of, yeah, either one. I mean,
Hmm.
maybe it was when your husband said, quit your job. Maybe it's something else, whatever you want it to be.
Let's come back to that one.
Okay,
I
we'll
gotta
come
think
back
about
to
that
that one.
one.
Dream collaboration other than the Mom's Work podcast. You're living it right now. Here it is. I don't know if you can get any better than this.
Okay, so I when I was learning how to bake, I needed to start with somebody else's recipes.
Yeah.
And her recipes still to this day are a lot of like the bases. Um, Ina Garden.
Oh, don't you want to go to the barn in the Hamptons?
I do.
I do.
It's so cliche and like so like
Why is that cliche?
no,
It's
it's not
so.
cliche is not the word I mean. I don't know. She gets a lot of flack for being like the way she
I know,
is.
but my mom's like, doesn't it bother you that she says use your good vanilla? I'm like, I don't care. She's using good vanilla, so I'm using crappy vanilla, but I'm okay with her. You know, she can afford good vanilla. Do you watch that show she has where she'll invite like an actor or an actress or somebody famous and they'll come to the barn and they cook with her?
Yeah.
You,
Can
there you
I
go.
do that? I want to do that.
It's your dream, so dream collab. There you go.
Okay, let's get it. Let's get it on the record.
Let's,
Put it
can I
in.
come with you? We'll do a
Yes,
podcast and
yes,
a collab. Okay, sounds
yes.
great. I know, I like her. And she, I think, is very much self-taught too. Did you read her book? Her
No, I
biography?
didn't.
Yeah, I read her biography last summer when I was reading. It's a good one. It tells you a lot about her life, and you're kind of like,
Okay,
oh, okay, and
okay,
yeah.
cool. All right.
Let me see. Most adventurous thing you've ever done.
The first time I took my solo vacation, it was a 10-day cruise.
Wow.
So I didn't speak to
Wow.
my family for a week.
Where did you go?
It left from Baltimore and it
Okay.
went to the Bahamas. I can't even
Nice.
remember, but it was, that was, my kids were young then,
Yeah.
2022. They were 4 and 6. Like
Did
they
you
were
feel like it was a
little.
little too long or was it good?
No, it was good.
It was
It was
good.
good. But
That's
10
amazing.
days, 10 days was like the max. That's a long time.
Yeah, but still lovely, lovely for 10 days, right?
Yeah.
Last one, if you're two more, what's always in your fridge?
Eggs.
I mean, because you can go so many directions with it, right?
100%. You can
Eggs.
eat them for breakfast. You can put them in cookies.
That's right. I love an egg. I love an egg for dinner. My husband's like, "Can we not have eggs for dinner?" I'm like, "It's so easy and it's like
Oh,
protein and it's healthy." And all
wow.
right, last one. I like this one. I don't know that I'd be able to answer this one, but if your life had a theme song, what would it be?
It's the Friends theme song.
Oh, is it on your arm? I can't see it.
Friend's couch, yeah.
What lyric do you? Oh, you've got the friend's couch on there. Oh, I'll be there for you, right? As soon as
Yeah.
you hear it, you're like, there I am,
Mhm.
right back
Yeah.
there in the 90s.
Yeah, if there's something on in the background while I'm working, it's Friends.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
It's
They've
just good
gotten me
background.
through my hardest times, like infertility,
Okay.
like uh, all the struggle, like the what's it called? Um, During the pandemic, like
Mm,
my kids weren't old enough to like know what they were watching and
right. So you could just have it
hard. Yeah,
on. I feel
exactly.
like The Office and Sex and the City is that for me. They're
Okay,
just
there you
easy and
go.
you kind of know what's happening, so you don't really have to watch, but it kind of keeps you company, like you said.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Isn't it funny though when you watch it now, you're like, man, we thought this was really it in the 90s, and now it seems so like silly and like a little cheesy, and you're
And
like, but
cringy and like didn't age well. The
no, no,
misogyny
no. And
did
you're
not
like
age
all these
well.
like politically incorrect. I find that about a lot of 90s things. I'm like, oh, we would not be doing that this today. We
Yeah.
would not be saying that, but that's okay. It takes us back.
And what's the question that I said ask come back to it? It was
Oh gosh, now I
best
forget.
advice. It was like best
Yes,
career.
best career advice you've ever gotten.
Yeah, they're especially okay, this is going to be specifically for the entrepreneurs. Like if you are your own boss, you you need to build in breaks. And I there are
That's a good
especially
one.
in this industry, I tell people all the time like taking a break is not going on vacation and bringing your laptop with you.
Great.
It's not the afternoon where like you don't have your kids or something and you're watching a TV show.
You're
Like that
grocery
those aren't
shopping,
breaks.
not a
Yeah.
break. Yeah.
Like that you need to like build in breaks where you are actually taking a break from what you do. And whatever that looks like. If someone might I know people who do what I do, like take the summers off and don't they have written all of their posts. They have done all of their stuff. Like
They just do it.
they're just done. But I don't want to do it. Maybe I will someday, but
Yeah.
build your own schedule and build in breaks. You have to rest. You have to, especially in something like this where it's constant and
Well,
like
and
back.
especially when it's long haul, like you said, you've been doing it for 12 years. If you had done
Yeah.
this constantly for 12 years, I mean, like talk about burnout. If this is going to be your career,
Burnout.
you need to be able to enjoy it and still feel
100%.
fresh. That's great. That's great advice. And I feel like for everybody too, no matter, if you are an entrepreneur or not, I think moms especially, we often feel like, oh, well, I took a shower and went to the grocery store. No, not a break, not a break.
No.
Yeah, and I
Mm-mm.
think like even if it's just lunch with a friend or go out for coffee or go to TJ Maxx by yourself and walk around for an hour or,
Mhm.
whatever, you need to take a break.
Me too.
As much as we love those little nuggets, man, sometimes everybody needs a little break from everybody else, right? I'm like,
I
we
say
need to not be together right now.
we say in our house, we need to take breaks from the people we love so that
Yes.
we can continue loving them.
Yes, and remind ourselves why we love them. Sometimes we're all a little unlovable, right? We're like, I'll look at my kids and I'll be like, I need you to get away from me just for like 15 minutes, but you need to leave the room that I'm standing in and not go in the adjacent room and look at me. Love you. Love you. Well, Lynn, I feel like I made a new friend today. Thank
Yeah.
you
Yeah. Do you
so
want to go
much.
get lunch?
Right,
Let's
I
do
was
that.
like, I'll just meet you in the middle. See you in 5 minutes now that we live so close to each other.
Yeah.
Thank you this was so much fun. Thank you for
Fun.
sharing your story. What an interesting story and to encouraging people. Follow your dreams. You'll make it
Yeah.
work out somehow, right?
Yeah.
And
Thank you.
and your practical ideas for summer family life too. Your journey is a reminder that it's never too late to follow a new passion or teach yourself a new skill, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
listeners, I was looking last night. It looks like you are on most of the socials, but you're saying your primary is Instagram. Okay.
Instagram. You can find me on Instagram. I love to be on Instagram, but I also get tons of DMs and I lose them a lot. So email me if you have like a pressing question.
And it's at Fresh April Flowers, Flours, and I will
Yeah.
link that. And I think we'll probably post together so people will be able to
Yeah.
find you too. And then your website is the same, Fresh April Flowers. Fresh April Flowers. It's a
Yes.
mouthful.
Yes. 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 Yes.
Well, thank you so much. And listeners, thank you for listening to Mom's Work. Don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, and share this episode with a friend. Thank you so much, Lynn.
You, Kristen.